Think about the impact Drew Brees has had on football. So Drew Brees wanted to be a Miami Dolphin, and Nick Saban wanted Drew Brees to be the quarterback. But the Dolphins' doctors would not okay Drew Brees' shoulder.
Yes.
Okay.
That was a bad experience for me, Colin.
Because of that, Saban goes to Alabama.
Yep.
If the doctors approve Drew Brees in Miami, we have no Alabama dynasty. The Saints don't win a Super Bowl. Tom Brady no longer dominates the AFC East because Saban and Brees are with the Dolphins. You wouldn't have 42 coaches fired in the South. Peyton Manning would have 3 Super Bowls. Brett Favre could have had a Super Bowl with Minnesota. And Russell Wilson and Baker Mayfield have largely been drafted because of Drew Brees' success. The impact, what is I've said this before about Steph Curry. LeBron's better than Steph Curry. But the big 4 in my life in the NBA and far as impact, Magic and Bird saved the NBA. It was a hurting league financially. Michael made it global with his shoes, and then LeBron's made it mobile as players now go team to team. If there's one more guy I'd include, it would be Steph Curry. Like Brees, maybe not the GOAT, but his impact on three-point shooting, getting rid of centers, revolutionizing the sport, is kind of hard to quantify. You would not have an Alabama dynasty because Nick Saban would have stayed in Miami. So is Drew responsible for 42 SEC coaches being fired?
You should run down that list with him. Here's the impact
we wouldn't have the greatest dynasty in the history of college football because Saban would have stayed in Miami with Drew Brees, and Drew's is joining us now. He is entering his 18th NFL season. I said this a couple days ago. I said, everybody talks about how long Brady's lasted. I thought you were as good last year, Drew, as I had ever seen you. I'd never seen you that good. Did you feel like audibles, shape, fluidity, coaching, do you feel as good as you've ever been?
I do. There's a lot to be said for experience, old age, and treasury. I feel like I'm at that point in my career where I'm very in tune with my training, very in tune with my body, my mechanics, my fundamentals. I love the locker room. I love the guys that we've assembled here, both in a couple of these past draft classes and through free agency. And so I just feel like we're entering this window of time where we're going to have a tremendous opportunity. And I'm having as much fun playing football right now as I ever have. And I think last year, obviously we had 3 pretty tough years prior to last year. And man, those were hard to deal with, hard to go through. And prior to last season, I kind of made a point to myself, listen, I was going into year 17. I knew I was closer to the end of my career than I am to the beginning. And I told myself, just enjoy every moment a little bit more. Enjoy the locker room a little bit more. Enjoy the plane rides back from a big win a little bit more. Just take time to just kind of soak that up. Because I know that's really what you miss when you leave this game, from all the guys former players that I talk with. And I know those are the things that you miss. And so, man, just stay in the moment. Stay in the moment and enjoy every second of it. Because when it's over, it's over. And I want to be able to look back and say, man, I gave it everything I could. But, I had as much fun playing football last year as I ever have. And I really love our team and love the direction that we're headed right now.
Drew Brees, who I think is, I said yesterday, the 8 greatest quarterbacks in my lifetime that I've seen. And I go back to Terry Bradshaw. Drew Brees is one of those, and some of you push back. I think analytics has helped guys like LeBron extend his career because the big man now can shoot threes. The big man doesn't have to have a big man leaning on him. I think analytics is helping Drew Brees. And the reason I say that is it is a bubble screen league. It is no huddle. So your brain is now so valuable to this league. I almost feel like you're playing chess, and a Carson Wentz is great, but it's closer to checkers until about 3 more years. Take me to the academic side. When you walk to the line, does anybody throw anything at you that surprises you?
I mean, you play long enough, you feel like you've seen just about everything, I think the key, obviously, the key to our position is your ability to anticipate, right? To anticipate what's coming, to be a problem solver. There's plenty of things that break down on any given play, and your job as a quarterback is to get the best out of whatever that situation or circumstance might be. Make sure nothing bad happens, get on to the next play, take advantage of the opportunities when they do present themselves. And then that's the thing, that you look back on a game and they're always decided on just a few plays here and there. And if you were in a position to take advantage of those opportunities, in most cases you win those games. And so there is such a huge, I think, mental element to playing our position. Obviously there's a ton of traits that go into being a great quarterback. Certainly you have to have a certain amount of physical ability, but the mental side of the game and, your ability to lead and to instill confidence in the guys in the huddle, those are huge parts of playing this position.
Drew, a lot of the great players in the NFL have a chip on their shoulder. They were overlooked. Half this league is undrafted players. You were a guy that was a Texas high school phenom, but you end up in Purdue because you probably didn't have 3 inches and 9 pounds or whatever for the Longhorns. But I get the chip on the shoulder. But once you're great, and money's not an issue, and legacy is formed, when you drive to work today, Drew, what drives you to give me last year? What drives you to look at film for another 9 hours today?
Well, I've been blessed with a pretty incredible opportunity, right? To be a professional athlete, to play professional football. I mean, this is something you dream about as a kid, right? So many kids have that same dream, and yet I'm the one that's able to live it out. And so why me? I just don't ever want to take that for granted. I appreciate every bit of this. I value the relationships that I've formed with coaches and teammates and people along the way. And I know that this only lasts for so long. I'm ancient in football years, but I'm still such a young person, so I still have my whole life left ahead of me, and so many things to look forward to, so many next chapters, in my life to look forward to. But, man, you can only play this game for so long. Like, it's just this finite amount of time. And like I said, I know I'm closer to the end than I am to the beginning. I don't know how many years left I'm going to play, but I just want to make the most of every second of it, because when I look back, I want to be able to say, man, I did everything I could, to be the best player that I could be, to be the best leader that I could be, to just value and treasure those moments.
Do you even remember your first training camp?
I do. I was with the Mike Riley coached San Diego Chargers.
Oh, good Lord.
2001 at UCSD in San Diego. That's where we had our camp. And I mean, that was, listen, I've got a lot of great memories from that time because, I was on a team with LaDainian Tomlinson and Lorenzo Neal and Junior Seau, Rodney Harrison. I mean, there were some names on that team, legends of this game, guys that had a big influence on me, were great mentors for me. Doug Flutie, I couldn't have imagined coming in the league with a better mentor at the quarterback position than Doug Flutie. He was a guy that I watched and looked up to because of all the things that you just mentioned. Like, you talk about a chip on your shoulder, and a guy who was constantly overlooked. And yet, still to this day, in my opinion, I think he's one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game at any level, because he played at a high level at every level, USFL, NFL, CFL, obviously Heisman Trophy winner. I mean, but he was the ultimate competitor is what he was. And so each and every day, I learned so much from him. So, those are the things I look back on throughout my career. And it's, man, having the chance to be around guys like that and hear the stories and watch them work and watch their approach and I just learned so much from those guys.
Yeah. Untuckit.com is a brand I've been wearing for 3 years. 2011, it was established, one of the fastest growing brands, retail brands in the United States. And if you like to wear your shirts untucked, you live down in New Orleans. You can't tuck shirts in down there, Drew. It's too hot.
No. Way too hot.
So untuckit.com, give them a plug.
Yeah, listen, I've been a fan of the brand for a long time now, and had the chance to invest in the company this off season and really become a spokesperson and ambassador and face of the brand. And it fits every aspect of my lifestyle, and that's what I love about it, and really my family's lifestyle, because Untuckit is not just a men's brand, but they have a women's line and a kids line, and so. It's so awesome when I get to go to church and my kids are wearing the same shirts as dad. That's a thrill for them. That's a thrill for the whole family. But it basically fits every aspect of my life, whether it's a road trip with the team, a business trip, date night with my wife, playing around with my kids. Untuckit fits every aspect of my lifestyle, and that's what's so unique about the brand is they've got 50 different sizing options, to really fit people of all shapes and sizes, and it's really an unbelievable brand.
11-time Pro Bowler, a Super Bowl, a 32nd pick in the draft, played for the chip on his shoulder, and he has rewarded us with last year, I thought, as sharp, as shrewd, as elevated a season as he's ever had. Drew, I love when you come on the show. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.